like if you want it. Come and get it, this is for the real. This for my people. I'ma give it, you don't have to take it. This is for the real who never fake it. My people. It's been a long time coming. I spent a long time running, grinding, and finding it's harder every day. Go deep into the mind of an overthinker, sitting on the brink of something new, made for a chosen few. Man, I'm tired of working for fish and chips. I'm trying to get paid. 100% is what I give them, and they work me like a slave. I shop at a frozen aisle instead of checking out the stage.
Hello, welcome everyone. We're in for another fabulous show with our guest, Clayton Holmes, the three-time Super Bowl Dallas Cowboy champion. You know, I used to watch him play. I used to be number 21. I think he was number 45, Clayton?
47.
47, yeah. So yeah. I was close, yeah. So I remember watching him play as a child. He was like, he was definitely one of the best DBs in the league. You know, and I'm hoping I can find some video footage to add inside one of these commercials of him playing, because that'd be awesome as well. And we would like to always begin our show with introductions from our guests. So the floor is open to you, Clayton Holmes. Please introduce yourself to our audience and Brother King so we can get to know you.
Okay. Well, greetings, fam. My name is Clayton Holmes. I'm from Florence, South Carolina. I live in Washington State. And like the brother said, I was fortunate enough to get drafted into the NFL, and not only drafted, but a part of 3 Super Bowl championship teams. Had a struggle in football, which led me to where I'm at now, which is finding myself and understanding myself, making changes that I need to make about myself, and just living a productive life. And what I mean by productive, doing things, I want to leave something on this earth that's going to be impactful to help people get out of bad situations, feel better about themselves, find their true gifts and talents. So life has just been, I just turned 55, so life has just been one beautiful, amazing journey. And I just look at everything as one huge lesson, whether it's good or bad. There's always a lesson in it. And yeah, that's where I'm at. Every lesson I learn, every truth I gather gets me closer to source, a better understanding of God. So yes, I'm excited about life. I'm excited about life. I'm excited about being here, and thank you for this opportunity to come on.
God is the source, so it's the number one
Okay.
source. Yeah. So go ahead and introduce yourself, Brother King. Give them a little bit about your background and the book that we're talking about, the importance of America's democracy.
Oh, thank you to everyone watching us right now. Thank you, Mr. Timothy and Brother Clayton. My name is King Fazan Ajo, and I love introducing myself with the phrase, my name is King Fazan Ajo, your brother in the struggle. And the reason why I always put that phrase is because our struggle as Black people, especially on the continent, is multifaceted. We are struggling on so many levels, and I feel like instead of talking about it, there is every reason to do something about it. And in your introduction, when I heard you said the better understanding of God, I am so eager to hear your better understanding of God. But as time goes on, I will be hearing from you. And I lecture physiology in the college here. And apart from that, I am an author. I have published at least 7 books to my name. And the reason why I'm writing so much is because of the zeal I have. I do not just want to complain about stuff. I want to do something about stuff. And the book that Timothy is talking about, the 40 Voters Commandment, the guide to, first one was the guide to African democracy. So on the continent, we have people who are cold-hearted. In fact, it will interest anybody watching us right now to know that our colonial masters right now looks like us. Those are the people we call our leaders. they are brutal, they are more wicked than the white colonial masters. And the only way that we can get rid of these people is to practice what I call true democracy. And I was talking to Timothy before, was it yesterday or early today? I was telling him that I want to do whatsoever it takes to preach the message of true democracy to our people, in fact, to the younger generation, so that we can be able to know who we put there, so that we can be able to know who is in the helm of the affair that control us as a people. So our struggle is just on so many levels. It is okay if you are fighting an enemy and you know that this is an enemy. But what is not okay, it is when you are fighting an enemy and the person that you are fighting for turn and the person is fighting you back. It is just so not okay. So that's the reason why I always introduce myself as King Fazen Ajo, your brother in the struggle. I have a lot of young people who believe in what I'm doing, and together we are pushing the movement. And we are just lucky enough to connect with people like Mr. Timothy, who trust, who believes. Even today, I was just telling him that I'm amazed by the way he believes in what I'm doing thousands of kilometers away, and the way he invested in it, and the way he is encouraging me every day. So in a nutshell, that is who I am. And but above all, I am a 21st century African. I believe that any border that is created by the West, we will surely dismantle it one day. I believe that any religion that is given by the West to us to divide us so that it will conquer, we will one day dismantle it also. I thank you so much.
Thank you for that. Yeah, one of the things you said was it's hard when your enemy is fighting back, but it's even harder when the enemy looks like you. You know, that's the hardest part, because when the enemy looks like you, it's hard to identify who your enemy is.
Yes.
You know? And that's what I call the devil, because the devil is a charlatan. He's a shapeshifter, and that's what some of the things that over here in America is taught to us growing up as a child, how the devil changes shapes, colors, and sizes. And that's how he's able to win against us, because it's hard to recognize him, especially when he looks like you.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I like about Clayton Holmes is he's like a true recipient of true democracy. He wouldn't have been able to even play in the NFL if it wasn't for democracy. Is that right, Brother Clayton?
Yes, bro. Yeah. It's like the brother said, and like you were saying earlier, it's unfortunate that the leaders don't have our best interests at heart. And I think a lot of them go in, they may have good intentions, or the people who are picking the leaders know who they're putting in the chair. And a lot of people nowadays are just really focused on money and doing what that person that's their puppet master, and doing what they want them to do, and setting up the laws and rules that they want them to set up. See, that's how this whole, in my opinion, that's how this game is ran. They put people in that's going to be puppets. They know that's going to look out for their best interests, or the interests of whatever that organization is that's running everything. So I definitely look for the time, or I'm looking forward to the time where we can truly get people in there that are doing the right thing for everybody, and understand this disease that they've given us, especially us melanated people, of not knowing how to support each other, and to be proud when somebody says, hey, you know what, I want to start a business. But, instead somebody will be kind of looking at you sideways and jealous. I think we're probably one of the worst groups when it comes to supporting each other. And for me to hear that that's going on over in Africa too, it's just sad how they've pitted us against each other with this, excuse my language, this house nigga and field nigga syndrome. We don't know how to support each other. And they did that. That was a goal of theirs, is to have us mentally enslaved now and not supporting each other. And then we get these people in power, and we think, oh, they're Black, or they're going to be looking out for us. And it's not that. They don't have our best interests at heart. They have their financial interests and the interests of the people who's running this game of confusion with us. So it's time for this madness to stop, but we have to recognize the problem and start working on ourselves, bettering ourselves, and knowing how to support each other sincerely.
King Fajan, have you heard of the term, the devil knows you better than you know yourself?
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Well,
yeah.
That's actually true. And, I did a lot of studies, when I was down behind the walls. And what I learned is why they have Black people up under a magnifying glass, and why they did all these different studies. And it seems like they always in our business watching us. And what I learned is, what they found out is, like, Black people, since we're a spiritual people, we're actually more impressionable than any other race on earth. It's easy to manipulate and deceive us more than it's easier to manipulate and deceive somebody else, because we're impressionable. With the spirit that we have, our spirit is naturally a loving spirit. And when you have a loving spirit, like, we're the firstborn children of God. We were created in his image. So with that in mind, our mothers are perfect examples of how loving and, like, unconditionally loving they are, how patient they are, And one of the lessons is, I don't know if you know about the Willie Lynch letter, but the Willie Lynch letter told us how they used the mother, and they traumatized the mother and made the mother raise their child in that same fear of the white man, and instill that fear in her children, and to teach her children the white man ways in order to keep her children safe and from the white man. My mother was doing that, and then once I paroled in 2007, and I attained all this your knowledge, I went and asked my mother, why did you try to teach me all these your lies? And she told me, to keep you alive. Somebody told me, to keep you alive, because it all goes back to the Willie Lynch letter on the plantation, how they used to take the biggest, strongest Black man and chop his head off in front of everybody and ask who's next. And that's how they got Black people to obey, by traumatizing the mother and the women, because they know women are the first teachers. And so that's where we're at today. And if you notice, you were like, why does African children or African youth act like this? We've been taught to act like this.
Wow.
And this knowledge is what needs to be taught. And one thing, Brother Clayton, I don't think you know, that they don't have access to the books and have access to the information that we have to even know what leaders to decide to put in office, which is, again, why this platform here is so important, where we can educate people. And I'm so honored and blessed to have Brother King as a co-host, because, like he said, he goes around and he talks to students at schools. He travels the country. He's invited to come to different schools all over the country. And what I want people to do is start investing in him and donate to his campaign, so that he could go on tour and be able to spread our message, because that's what's needed right there. Reaching the youth, reaching the next generation, because that's what the leaders want. The leaders want to control the minds of the youth. They already got the old people stuck in the Stockholm syndrome. Yeah. That's all it is. It's like the Stockholm syndrome is when you start loving your oppressor. You want to do what your oppressors will. That's what our people have, is what we call Stockholm syndrome. We're over here doing the devil's work for him. That's what Stockholm syndrome is. And I'm so blessed, like I say, to have met all these great leaders, and a brother like yourself, King Fajan, who goes around and shares the same passion that we have for our people. And not just that, you have the means, you don't have the means, which is where we come in at over here in America, so that we could like I say, donate to your cause, to push our cause.
That's true.
We know the problem. We was talking about that before you came on, brother. We know the problem. Now it's time to start implementing these solutions that we have. We have the right people in place. We have the tools and resources over here in America. You know, we've been given the authority to build the diaspora, which is called the 6th region now. And we have the permanent people of foreign African descent. We have all these places and pieces in place. And it's like now it's time to fulfill prophecy that God set forth, which is to let my people go. You know, bring our people back to him. So go ahead and you have the floor, King, Brother King. You want to add more to that?
No, I am just like, very excited with your deeper explanation of what Stockholm Syndrome is. And if we come on the continent, you will discover that all that our people do, even the leaders, they just want to be like our oppressors. They want to drive the cars that our oppressors once drive. They want to oppress just like the oppressors once did. They just want to do everything the way our oppressors were doing it. And Brother Clayton was speaking, and he spoke about the hatred that we have towards each other, and he was a little bit surprised. But anybody who is watching this, what I'm about to say, it will shock you, but it is very true. And anybody that knows Africa will tell you that what I'm about to tell you is true. The hatred that we have towards each other on the continent is so intense to a point that a black person on the continent will welcome a white person with more open arms than he will ever welcome a black person. I am sitting here in Johannesburg, South Africa. I tell you the story. So if we come to South Africa, if you are a fellow African, and I guess many of you don't know that for you to move from one African country to another, you need a visa. And for you, in fact, for you to travel from America to Africa is easier for a black person on the continent to move from one African country to another. Yeah, that's how confusing it is. So if you get in here as an American citizen, they're not gonna ask you for visa. But if I get in here as a Nigerian, they have to ask me for visa. Right? In fact, my chances of getting that visa from Nigeria to South Africa are so slim. Now, when I get here, the black South Africans will have problem with me for being a Nigerian or being a Cameroonian or being a Congolese. In fact, the hatred goes to a point that, in fact, I don't know whether you guys have ever heard of the xenophobic attack in South Africa, where people are set on fire. Those people who are not from here. Okay, I tell you. So on the 29th of May, that was when South Africa got elected their new leaders into power. So I have written a book, 40 Voters Commandment, the guide to African democracy. So I am going from one school to another, trying to educate the young people. So the Electoral Commission of South Africa now saw the book and they were like, whoa, this is a powerful book. They spoke to me, they said, we are going to help you with your campaign so that you will reach more young people and encourage them to come and vote. Now, few days to the day that they promised me, they now discover that I am not a South African. I am a Nigerian living in South Africa. And that was how the whole deal finished. So what I'm trying to say is that the level of hatred that we have towards each other, and this is not just South Africa and Zimbabwe. If you go to Congo, the Congolese, they don't like the Rwandese to a point that you might even get killed if you are from Rwanda. So now here is my thing, and here is my dying message to these young people. Just like Mr. Timothy said, I don't have problem with the older adults. No, I don't even talk to them. I talk to the younger generation, and here is my message to them. And anytime I tell them this, I will always see on their faces that they understand me so well what I'm saying. Yesterday, I had like 8 schools together in a hall, and I was educating them about Africa. And when I finished, all of them were just so happy. They said, we never knew. We just follow these people to behave the way they are doing. Here is my thing. There has never been a group of divided people that has accomplished anything. The Jewish community is not much, but they have accomplished so much because of unity. The only time that total freedom is guaranteed for any slave is when those slaves begin to talk to each other. When slaves cannot talk to each other, their freedom will never come. And I make it very clear for the Black people on the continent, who told you you are free? We are not free. We cannot even move from one region to another in our continent. If we go to Nigeria, to go to American embassy, the embassy is the population of people seeking to leave Nigeria. The number is almost 1 million. You will see people, and that is the situation on all the 54 fragmented states that we have on the continent. They keep us so divided to a point that we do not care to know what is happening to our next brother. So when our next brother is being maltreated by the West, there is nobody they can call on to because they have separated us so much. So my excitement with this kind of shows that we put on, the power of TV is unimaginable. So I just want to get these young people to watch stuff like this. When I finish talking to them, I always tell them about where they can see people who love Africa talking about Africa. And Mr. Timothy always have a way of bringing brothers on this show that knows their story, that know what they are saying. So am I shaking? Yes, but do I have hope? Yes, I have hope. And what is that hope based on? It is based on the determination of not taking a day off from what I'm doing. And when that gets in the heads of so many young people and we spread across the continent, then the hope is certain.
Would you like to respond, Brother Clayton?
So King, what is it exactly that you are doing? Is it to educate people, to bring peace? What exactly is your goal? What is it that you're doing?
Okay, so my goal is the unity of the Black race.
Okay.
The unity of the Black race. So first of all, I educate them of who we are as a people. Now, here is the thing. When anybody do not know who they are, anybody can lie to them about them and they can believe the person. Mm-hmm. So if we look into it, what is happening on the continent is because of the limited knowledge we have about each other. Mm-hmm. We do not know anything about fellow, I'm gonna say this. A typical South African where I'm living knows more about America than he knows about Angola, which is just a fellow African country. Mm. You understand? So my message is simple. We can unite, and that unity will only be made possible if we know who we are. And my definition of unity is not just holding hands. No, I'm talking about unity for purpose. Mm. So there was a TV channel that had me, and they asked me the same question you just asked me. And I gave them example of what happened in Europe. I think after World War II, their economy was just crumbling. Remember, they also used to have borders.
Mm-hmm.
What they did was they said, no, scrap all of these borders away. Let's do business with each other so that we can prosper. There is no place on planet Earth that is richer than Africa. But what is it that it has produced the poorest people on Earth? It's a different thing altogether, having something and knowing what you have. If you do not know what you have, another person can come use it for you.
Mm-hmm.
So my message is simple. Let's unite. And if we fail to unite, there is 100% possibility that our children will go back into slavery. And it will, this time it will be in the hands of Arabs or Chinese.
I feel you. And so, yeah, this is a deep conversation for me, and I like to get to the root of the issue. And from what I have figured out and just from hearing from you also, it's not just us melanated people here, and I don't like using that term black, and I have my reasons for that, but us melanated people have always had an issue with the so-called white man, which they're not white, they're more pinkish color. All this black and white stuff, the separation. So here's where I'm at, fam. I'm deep with this, and this is where the earth is about to wake up to, and this is what we need to wake up to. We melanated people were the original people on this earth, and they've came in. And all of these vaccines and shots, especially that they're doing to people over in Africa, this Bill Gates guy, he's not a good person. He backs population control. So I feel like all of these vaccines and stuff that they're sticking in us, that also affects our mind. But my point is, and this is, I would say this is given to me from God. And I know this is true if we do the research. We were the original people on this earth. Wherever these white people came from, as they got closer to Africa, they had clothes on. It was cold. And the closer they got to warm, they started taking off their clothes. They didn't know anything about sunburn and all the other stuff. So they get to a place where it's hot. They fall asleep and they're naked because they're feeling so good. The sun feels so good. And then they wake up and they can't move. They're red. They got blisters. I don't know if you've ever seen a so-called white person sunburned. I'm talking about severely sunburned. They got blisters on them, huge blisters. Their skin is red. You can't touch them. And then now imagine this. And then you see these dark-skinned people. They're half naked. The sun is not burning them. And they got us thinking that we're just African. When I grew up, it was more like an African booty scratcher. You're thinking everybody's running around and naked and throwing spears, and it's not like Africa is a beautiful place. And I don't know if you know the original name of the continent, but I wish we would use what the original name of the continent is, and just not Africa. But so these people, they come, and then they see these melanated people building these amazing structures. They're smelling good. We were amazing people. These people were jealous of that. And then they found out that there's a sun god named Ra that they worship. The sun god, the thing that's burning them. The sun burns these people. They can't be in it without any protection. So all of this stuff that's going on, this is the jealousy of them. And this is the stuff that needs to come to the light now. And we have to do this in a way to where we're not flipping the script back on them again. I would be pissed off too if something that nourishes us and sustains us, I can't be in it. It's going to burn me. That would piss me off too. So that's why history has been flipped. That's why they're doing these terrible things to us. That's why they got us at the bottom of the totem pole when we are the original people on this earth. And if you believe in an Adam and Eve, now imagine they have to be created in some place hot. You can't make two butt naked beings and they're in some place cold. So we are the original people of this earth that got us representing this white Jesus with the blue eyes thing that went across the earth and just spread this image. And we are the people. And this is what we need to get educated on. And we need to cleanse our minds now, because that's what they poison our minds. They got us. They got it poisoned, and we got to get this out. We got to learn how to respect each other. So this game, these so-called white people are playing. They know that that it's almost up, and so this is a crucial time for us, because imagine, and you guys probably aren't aware of things I'm aware of, but there are so many lies about our history. Now, so imagine if they start, if all the people start waking up, what are they going to do? See, they got the power to start wars. They even got the power to hit the reset button. This is a pivotal time, family, for us right now to really getting to the root of the problem, and it is that so-called white man. Now, I love them. I don't hate anybody. Like Tim said, I don't hate anybody, but we have to see where the problem has started, how they've whitewashed everything. They've got people thinking that God, Jesus, angels, all these people are white, and they don't know what that does to the subconscious mind, especially a child. So this is a serious battle that we're in right now, family. And again, I don't like to beat around the bush what the problem is. I like to go right to the root of it. And these people, again, they've infiltrated the mind. And it's time for us to really wake up and see what's going on and work on ourselves and become a unit, become a single unit, brother. So again, I applaud you with what you're trying to do, my brother. But again, I'm not a popular person because I don't like to beat around the bush. I like to go straight to the root of what the issue is. And we have to, the earth has been whitewashed, and we gotta stop that. We got to get back to where we are. Things need to be equal on this earth. No, not the black people up here, not the white people up here. We need to balance this out. This is not balanced. And it's all because of, again, I'm going to go back to that jealousy, to that hatred of the original people on this earth that don't need no protection from the sun. So again, they flip history, they've changed names, and that's what we need to realize. And hopefully someone is going to come along that's going to wake them up, that's going to help them go, make them go, damn, you know what, man, my ancestors did. They've done this, and they've got this plan to just control the whole earth. But now we got to stop this. We really got to stop this, because we can live so much better if we all just start viewing each other as family. With just different shades. We're family. So all of this democracy and the Republicans, the Democrat, all of this separation, it's time for all that stuff to stop, family. It's time for that stuff to stop. So this is my path. This is what God has laid upon my chest to do, to reveal, like, what the problem truly is. Not beat around the bush, but go straight to the root. And the root of this problem is what we call the so-called white man. And when I say white man, I don't hate nobody again. And I know it's not all, but this is where this whole, everything, the lies, it comes from them and the jealousy of us. And look at what they've done. I applaud them, because I'm like, how were they able to do it? And you know how, brother? They were the ones that always had the weapons of mass destruction. They came up with the gunpowder, the bullets, the cannons first. So that they've always had the weapons of mass destruction. So they had them, and they went over this earth, killing people, taking their stuff, colonizing everything. And now all of that stuff is catching up to them. The truth is coming out now. But they've always had the weapons of mass destruction, and that's how they were able to do it. Because they used to kill, like, dang, how did they flip the script like this, man? How did they do it? Weapons of mass destruction. You got people with bows and arrows, and you got guns and cannons. It was easy for them to take it over. And they still doing it to this day with the weapons of mass destruction. Only a few people got nuclear weapons, and they're partners with us, with the US. So they've always had the weapons of mass destruction. They've always had the media, the news, the music. The brother was saying that too. All this, the music that people are listening to now, the TVs that people are listening to now, watching the news and seeing two candidates debate each other and not knowing how to stand corrected. Like a candidate can catch one in a lie or correct one of them, and instead of that person going, "Wow, you know what? You're right about that," but no, they deflect and they start talking about something else, and then we do the same thing in conversation. We don't know how to stand corrected. We will sit and defend things to our death, even when someone is correcting us. And see, that's not intelligent. And this is where we're at. Our leaders are leading us the wrong way. They're leading us the wrong way, and it's time for this madness to stop. And that's where I'm at, family. That's my goal. That's my vision. This is my wake-up call to help people understand. So yeah, brother, I feel you. And I'm shocked that it's like that in Africa too. I thought it was more togetherness with you guys down there too, but it sounds like you guys have the same issue, some of the same issues there that we're having here when it comes to togetherness. And like I said, I know why too. This is planned. This is how they want us to be. This is exactly how they want us to be towards each other. So yeah. This is what we got to wake up to, fam.
Yeah, I've been taking notes. It sounds just like me, just getting straight to the point, not beating around the bush, and people don't like that. So right now, we'll pause for a quick commercial break, and then we'll be right back.
Up like if you want it, come and get it. This is for the real. This for my people. I'ma give it. You don't have to take it. This is for the real who never fake it. My people. It's been a long time coming. I spent a long time running, grinding, and finding it's harder every day. Go deep into the mind of an overthinker, sitting on the brink of something new, made for a chosen few. Man, I'm tired of working for fish and chips. I'm trying to get paid. 100% is what I give them, and they work me like a slave. I shop at a frozen aisle instead of checking out the stage. And I'm supposed to be happy like everything is all great, all gravy. Maybe it's just hitting my pockets a little harder lately. Child support and I'm still buying diapers for the babies. They can never pay the cost of what I've seen people resort to. When they start falling off, people will report you. So calling all cause, be on the lookout for problems. He done broken all of the laws, so he not. Maybe I need not to explain. Niggas will learn for themselves as hoes in the game, and it shows no shame. I'll put you up like if you want it. Come and get it. This is for the real. This for my people. I'ma give it. You don't have to take it. This is for the real who never fake it. My people. See, I'll put you up like if you want it. Come and get it. This is for the real. This for my people. I'ma give it. You don't have to take it. This is for the real who never fake it. My people. I know some who forgot where they came from, spots where they grew up. They ashamed of them. I know homies who got life for other homies putting the blame on them. And there's no way that I can just sit around and not bang on them. You looking at it viciously, but I served it so deliciously that you never knew that the poison was running through you so efficiently. That's what it is when you live in a city plagued by a disease where money is the power and everybody trying to go green. And losing a lot of weight invested in that gold lean. Whether lining them up for smoking, God must be joking. But he couldn't be more serious to try to keep the fear in us. But people are getting fearless when they only want to see blood and not trying to hear this. It's a cold day coming, and my people ready for something. Tired of the assumptions and ready for the dumping. I told you this is for the chosen few who waiting and already know what to do. See, I put you up like if you want it. Come and get it. This is for the real. This for my people. I'ma give it. You don't have to take it. This is for the real who never fake it. My people. See, I put you up like if you want it. Come and get it. This is for the real. This for my people. I'ma give it. You don't have to take it. This is for the real who never fake it. My people. You can say that I'm on one. Matter of fact, I'm on two. Forget two. You can say that I'm on a few. And I'm sitting on full tank, full stomach, full bottle, fully auto, scratching on the lotto, taking a $3 chance, thinking about a banking a loan in advance, 300 grand. Goddamn, and that's where a process for modo, and it doesn't even justify where the money might go. And I know it ain't the only one who needs to slow their roll. High control, 2 strikes, man, years on parole. But we do what we gotta do to keep it truly real. I'm sick with the influence and influently ill. They nodded because they new to it. I got it because I'm true to it. I'm forever ready pursuing it and constantly doing it. It's me without no you in it. Lost case, no clue in it. That's how I feel, and that's just keeping it real. See, I put you up like if you want it. Come and get it, this is for the real. This for my people. I'ma give it, you don't have to take it. This is for the real who never fake it. My people. See, I put you up like if you want it. Come and get it, this is for the real. This for my people. I'ma give it, you don't have to take it. This is for the real who never fake it.
Hello, welcome back to the show, everyone. As always, we're always smack dab right in the middle of something real juicy and fresh for people to take a hold of and taste, like God says, oh, taste and see. You know, you can't just hear it, you can't just touch it, you got to ingest it, you got to take this knowledge in, run with it. And we were talking about bringing our people together. You know, how could we stop all this here hatred and division amongst our people? And the brother Clayton, he was talking about white people and how he was saying that, talking about the sun and how they had on like this fur, this skin, and they had to peel it off to be closer to the sun. And what I like to do, I always like to give my input from the knowledge that I have from studying so much and a lot about this topic in our people, not just our people, but all people are our people. You know, that's what they don't tell you. The Black woman gave birth to all people. She's what they call the progenitor of mankind. So it don't matter what color you are, you came from a Black woman. And that's what they don't want us to know. Just that little knowledge right there could be used, not could be, but is being used to divide us by not teaching the truth. So with the knowledge that the brother was talking about, I want to talk about, not just talk about, but educate on what they call the Ice Age. So you know how they always talk about, well, people talk about white people coming from caves and being cavemen and all this and that, and the pale skin. So, but what they don't teach about is what happened during the Ice Age. They don't want people to know about the Cro-Magnon man, which the one that they found stuck in ice. So they have like knowledge of that, you know, but they don't teach the truth about it. So when the brother was saying how, oh, they was covered with something like fur, whatever, yeah, all this here was true, because during the Ice Age, the whole world was frozen down to the 54th degree latitude, longitude, which means when the whole world was frozen over, Africa, which sits along the equator, that's why they call it the equator, because the sun rotates around the equator. So all the countries that sits around the equator, they still had sun, while the rest of the world was frozen over. That's why the white man had to be covered in like fur, and not just fur, but what they called it hide, animal hide. You know, they use animal hide to keep themselves warm, and then they grew the skin. So like that, the skin that you know, when white people take off their shirts and stuff, you know, they got like all this hair all over their body. All this stuff comes from the Ice Age. See, they don't teach all of this stuff, and they don't just teach it to keep the Black people confused. Like the brother was saying, he hoped someday that the white people will be like, man, our people did this, and it will stop. It will stop, but they don't want it to stop. But this knowledge is what will make all this here stuff, all these problems, all this hate go away. Hitler had to lie to his own people to get them to be racist. And that's the same thing that's going on today. They're lying to their own people to make them hate Black people. So if people get this or knowledge about where they came from and why they are the way they are, I had to study myself to stop being a psychopath going around here punching everybody and robbing everybody that wasn't Black. I had to, and that leads me to the point of know thyself. You know, our ancestors, before they created this, what they call religion, our what is called spirituality was know thyself.
Mm.
See, like you say, when they had cannons, they had this, and they had weapons of mass destruction. But if we knew ourselves, we would be like Superman, Spider-Man, with all these types of superpowers that they don't want us to know about.
Mm.
That's where all the jealousy and envy comes from, is from us being melanated people, which makes us able to be in communication with God and have these God-like superpowers that they don't want us to know about. That's how we were able to build the pyramids. And why they lie about the pyramids is because we're melanated people. We have this knowledge coming directly to us from God, which is why the Lokes with Solomon and Samson and all our ancestors had, the kinky hair. All that had to do with us being in tune with God. Our dreadlocks. And why in the Bible, well, I don't like call them dreadlocks because I know they call them dreadlocks because they dreaded the locks. So they named them dreadlocks. That was all this stuff is meant to keep our people confused and ignorant and dummy us down throughout the generations, call them dreadlocks. It's not dreadlocks. They dreaded the locks, just like they call us cowboys. No, we were wrestlers, wranglers. We used to wrangle. They called us, come here, boy, because of how we used to wrangle cows and wrangle bulls. How you see our people walking around with lions, taming beasts and stuff. That's all come from us being melanated people with a direct connection with God, and why the Bible says the jealousy and envy is what leads to hate. So this is the knowledge that needs to be out there, and why a lot of people are coming across this knowledge. If you see, once they come across this knowledge, they be like, whoa, Black people really are the true children of God. And then they become fearful. They don't want to hate Black people no more once they come across this your knowledge.
That's right.
Would you like to add more to that, Brother Clayton?
Oh, brother, that's it. You are absolutely, you're on it. It's just that we truly are amazing people, and I grew up, and this was subconsciously, I grew up right when the Jerry curls and wave nouveaux. I was trying to change my hair. I really didn't subconsciously. I didn't like being, and again, I'm using this word because it's just the word that people use. I didn't like being Black. I started dating a white girl my junior year in college. So all of this, I was ashamed of being like Black. I thought it was. Now this is subconsciously. I was carrying this with me, and I've realized this throughout my journey of finding myself, is that I really didn't like being Black, and they painted, they did that to us, got us thinking that it's something bad to be Black. But I mean, in actuality, like you said, brother, we are the original people of this earth. Every shade of color on this earth, the melanated woman can have. Like, you can't get Black from white, but you can get white from Black, which we call an albino. So again, it's ridiculous that so many people believe that God and Jesus and all the angels are white. The earth cannot get populated by two white people first. So it's us. It's that melanated skin. And I think it was the women here first. And they switched history. They burned so much of it. They burned the Library of Alexandria that held so much information and so much knowledge. They've burnt so much of it. They've changed it. They've changed history. They've changed names. Even the apostles in the Bible, the apostles have European names. There are nobody named Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Peter, and Paul. Those are European names. So even the name Jesus, they changed the names, and they fit things to fit their narrative. Like, they've created everything, all of these great things that we've created. And like you said, those pyramids, brother, it's amazing, the mind state, the things that we can do if we're taught on a spiritual level. We're not taught on a spiritual level anymore. We're taught on a
physical,
dependent. Yeah, dependent level, on a slave level, not on a spiritual level where you always got your mind open, where you don't cling to no belief. You keep your mind open because they say we only use what, 3% or 5% of our brains. And it's like when you learn something, you start cutting certain parts of your brain off when you start learning certain things. And the goal is to keep your mind open. We probably don't even need phones to talk to people. I mean, that's how deep we are, amazing we are, if we are taught on a spiritual level. For instance, if you have a child and that child is around 2 years old, it can start understanding your language and what you're saying. And you look at a child and say, hey, you know that everything that you see, if you close your eyes, you can see it again. Now imagine practicing this with that child. Like, okay, before you go in your room, what color is your blanket? Where's your baseball bat at? Where's your book at? And you start practicing that stuff with your child. Now, guess what? When your child's not going to be trying to remember how to spell words. All he has to do is close his eyes and he can see that word again. That's what I mean by being taught on a spiritual level. Everything that we see, hear, smell, we can recall those things, but they don't teach us on that level. That's what I mean by spiritual level. Always keeping my mind open, learning how to stand corrected, because another thing is, it hurts to be wrong about something because people laugh at you when you're wrong, or they call you stupid. So that's why it's hard for people to just go, oh, you know what? I was wrong about that. And it's easy for me to do it now because for me, all that means is I just learned something. Anytime I'm incorrect now, it don't matter what I'm talking about. If somebody school me, I love it because it's like, damn, okay, I just learned something. And I told you, I'm looking for something and I found it. So in order for me to really, I feel like, get to source, God, the next level of what's happening, is for me to keep my ego in check and to learn how to stand corrected, because I want knowledge. I love knowledge. I love wisdom. And real quick, I love the show title. What is it? Something about our ancestors and our ancestors speaking.
We are who our ancestors waited for.
Yes. I got hit by a car on 12/11/15, my brother. I was in a coma for 3 days. And I had an experience of being with my ancestors and seeing what they went through for me to get to where I'm at. I was running through a swamp with two of my ancestors, and we got caught, and we were hanging on the rope, and it was and this feeling came over me that everything is okay, everything's going to be all right. This is going to be known what truly happened, and you're going to be okay. Our people are going to be okay. So if anything, if I worked through my ancestors, that was emotional for me to really look at what our ancestors went through for me to be sitting here right now. Everything that we've been through, we couldn't even, it was a death sentence to learn to know how to read. It was a death sentence for us. And look at how far we've come from not being taught to read, being freed as slaves. And that was exciting for a minute. It's like, oh, we're free. And all of a sudden it's like, damn, okay, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna eat? What the damn? So can you imagine what it was like that? And then look at us now. We have come a long way. We are amazing people, absolutely amazing people. And it's time for us to get off the bottom of this totem pole and take our rightful place where we belong. That's what I'm here to help do, and bring peace when I do that, not anger and mad at the white man. And now we want them to be the slave, and let's do this to this. Like, no, let's cut all that shit out. Let's stop all that, man. They had their reasons for doing what they did, but now the game is over. It's time for us to be one. Time for us to live like that. And I think that's the goal of what Creator wants. I don't think Creator's coming back. He's not personally doing that. He's like, no, I'm going to sit back and I'm going to watch y'all make this place heaven. I'm going to watch y'all clean this up. I ain't got nothing else to do with this. I've given y'all the power to do everything that y'all asking me for. Now make me proud and do it. This is our job. This is our mess. And we need to clean it up. And I'm going to do my part to help, bro. I'm going to do my part.
Appreciate it. It's an honor to have you here. I know you got something to say, Brother King. You like to respond to that?
I'm just super excited, man. Like hearing Brother Clayton speak. At the end of the day, one thing that we must understand is that when we talk about problems only, it's not very helpful. It's when we talk about solutions that the conversation becomes fruitful, because there are a lot of questions out there, but answers are very few. And like I always tell Mr. Timothy, since I've been doing this work, I will see people tell me that, oh, you're doing a great job, you do all of the stuff, but you will never see them like invest their time in what I'm doing, just like Mr. Timothy is doing. So sometimes it's not just about talking about it, it's doing something about it. And when I hear Brother Clayton speaks, I know that just like all the guests that Mr. Timothy has been bringing up here, everybody knows their story, and these are not just talkatives. These are people who are actually effective change in a society, and trying to see that we become better people. See, Mr. Clayton was saying something about when he was younger, his challenges of being Black. And so if you come on the continent, I was having a conversation with a beauty pageant, Miss what's her name, Senegal. And people from Senegal, you know, they are just very close to the equator. So the sun is directly into their faces. If you think I'm Black, if you go there, those guys are like really, really Black. Like they are like really, they got the highest level of melanin. Wow. So yeah. So I was campaigning against our women bleaching their skin. And there was a campaign that I was telling them that no, black woman, you are the most beautiful woman ever. Why would you bleach your skin and all of those stuff? And this lady reached out to me and he said, King Fazen, you make a lot of noise. Let me put you into your place and you will hear what I have to say today. I was like, okay, what is that? He said, it's easy for you to sit there and say that Black is beautiful. When you come to our country, Senegal, if you are a Black woman, there are chances that your whole youthful age till you grow old, no man will even say hi to you. I was like, wait a second, what did you just say? He said, yes. A man will not even say hi to you. And that is the reason why they start bleaching their children at a very young age. Can you imagine that? Now, television, and Mr. Timothy always said this about television being the #1 source of brainwashing people. Our televisions, the adverts, they depict white women and all of those stuff. That
he has a real bad connection over there. I like when you said about the albino part, because the albino part is pretty much part of the Ice Age too, what I was talking about. We're going to pause right now, go to a commercial, and give him a chance to come back. And then I want to get into that about why the hatred is so rich, not just among ourselves, but where did the hatred come from? So we'll be right back after this.
4 yards. Gilbert, though, when he tried to throw it, knocked away by Clayton Holmes as he looked for Sean Jefferson, and even though Jefferson had him beat. Well, and this was a theme during the first part of this football game. Sean Jefferson beating Holmes badly, but Holmes able to make up the time because the throw was short. 4 yards. Then prime time tells Clayton Holmes it's his turn next for the interception. Did he know that? Gilbert the bomb, but again it's underthrown. Receiver was open. but Holmes makes the pick.
Yeah, heartbreaking experience for the Chargers today. You can see that Tony Martin got deep, was ready for the pass, just underthrown again by Gilbert.
Well, the Chargers offense...
Welcome back, everyone. Sorry for that brief interruption. We wanted to give Brother King a chance to come back and continue what he was saying about the bleaching of the skin and the brainwashing, everything like that. So thank you for staying with us and being patient with us. Go ahead, Brother King, and finish saying what you were saying.
Okay. So can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you good. Yeah.
Very, very well. So this lady explained to me, she said, King Faisal, if you are black, on this side of Africa, if you are black, there are chances that no guy, no man will say hi to you until you grow old. All the black guys, they want the light-skinned ladies. And in fact, if you are fortunate to date a white lady, then you are even considered above your peers. Now, it gets to a point that it's not only the ladies that bleach, the guys also bleach. So when you talk about self-hatred, I see exactly where that is coming from. Because a typical black person sees himself in the mirror and he doesn't like what he sees. So how is he gonna love his brother that just looks like him? No, because even himself, he doesn't like himself. You see, so, and this is whereby, like the question you asked me, my message, I was telling you that it's all about like providing knowledge to these young people. I told them the importance of melanin. I told them how we are the most expensive people on earth. Had it been human beings were being sold and whatsoever, our melanin, you know how much it costs. You understand? So when they hear all of these things, they're like, oh, okay. We don't know about that. For example, like yesterday, when I have all of those 8 schools come together, I was talking to them about the culture from the north to the south, east to the west, and you could see on their faces, these are young people, and you could see they were intrigued, they were just so happy and all of that. So I believe that the self-hatred that we have towards one another, we can be able to overcome it when we educate one another of who we truly are. And Mr. Timothy, this is where I always appreciate this, how you are willing to actually share this knowledge that you have, because when we met initially, you were that guy that with all the knowledge that you just accumulated it, you never wanted to be in front of any camera. You just want to be at the back, like to help people go through and all of those stuff. But I kept telling you that posterity will not forgive you if you are not ready to share this kind of vast knowledge that you have, because our life is dependent on it. The life of the next generation is dependent on it.
Yeah, I like that. What we have over here is, we have a lot of sayings that people don't understand, and like the brother Clayton, he was saying earlier about getting to the root cause and the root problems. I like to break down root words. Yeah. See, because knowledge comes from knowing, we know, in the language that you speak. If you don't know the language you speak, you're very, very ignorant. And that's one of the things we have to clear up, is teaching people the language that they speak, what they call English comprehension. And so what I learned is about etymology, which is the origin of words, the root of the word. And so when we say scripture, the root word to scripture is script. And what happened is they flipped the scripture. But over here we say, oh, you got to flip the script. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to flip the script. And so in the Bible, it says, so they don't teach about melanin because like I was saying earlier, they know how impressionable Black people are. Once we hear a word or something, that is like, it intrigues us. We want to go know more about that, you know? So it's a seed that we call it dropping seeds over here in America. So when we drop a seed like that, it's a jewel, you know, that, you know, that's why we call it a seed, because we also call it dropping jewels. And the Bible said, I planted, Apollo watered, God added the increase. That's Apostle Paul speaking. When he said, I planted, he said, I planted, this is a seed, you know? So that's why they don't teach about melanin, because they know that's going to make people study. And then when they start studying, they're going to find out who we are. And melanin goes back to what I was saying earlier about knowing thyself and about the pyramids. The reason I say that is because when they went to the pyramids, that's what it says, know thyself. Before they created this religion, we had the pyramids, and the pyramids were telling us know thyself. And our religion, while I was speaking about us having this God-like superpowers like Spider-Man and Superman, because our religion was astral projection, like the brother was saying. We could probably talk to people without the telephone, which is what we can. You know, it's called mental telepathy. Like when Jesus was walking, and the apostles was thinking something, the disciples were thinking something, and Jesus was responding to them. That's what it called Christian, means Christ-like. We could do the same thing Christ did if we knew ourselves. Jesus is one of our ancestors. Why they called him Jesus and made him out to be a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white guy is to take that connection away from us, which his name we know was Yeshua. Because Jay wasn't even around back when he wrote the Bible. When this stuff happened, when they wrote the Bible is when they created the J. See, I studied all this. The J came in the 1400s. The Bible came in the 1600s. So you could imagine when they invented the J, it took them all this time to put together what they call their scripture. And then the first Bible was actually printed in a person's house who was against what they was teaching. They killed him. They call him what they would call an objector or whatever like that, or a heretic. They call him heretic because they didn't believe what the church was saying. They knew the church was lying back then, what the church was doing, and this was their own people. So they killed him and printed the Bible out of his house, even though he didn't even agree with the Bible. King James didn't even agree with the Bible, but they put the Bible in his name. This is the type of reverse psychology that they use on people to make us believe their lies. Just like they killed Yeshua and named him Jesus, knowing he was against what they was doing. And that's how these lies have been able to prevail over all this time, So what I wanted to say about the albinos is what the brother was talking about. See, back in the day, like I said, we were the original people. And the Bible even says about how the prophets were like separated. I think it was Sarah and Hagar, and Abraham told Hagar she had to leave or something like that or whatever. This goes back to when the albinos were created. Remember that they talk about how they were sacrificing children and stuff like that. So, and the Ice Age. So they were casting off the albinos because they were albinos. They didn't have melanin, so they were casting off thinking, that's where the term like, you're Satan's child or this, and that's why the white people started procreating inside of caves. And what I learned is where all this mental illness and this the rape and all, how they say they seem like a violent race of people, it's because they didn't even have a language. They used to grunt and communicate, with the rocks, and their history is so bad that they don't want it told.
Right.
Which is what leads to the jealousy and envy of our culture and our people, which that jealousy and envy leads to hate, just like the scripture says. You know, that's what made them hate us and come back and do what they did, is because when the albinos was born, they were being casted off into the caves. By our own people. And do you think God liked that? No, he didn't. We were casting off our own children.
But I had a theory exactly about what you said. I was like, because this is the stuff I like to sit and just think about. I was just like, now I'm talking about over millions of years. And when women were having babies, they weren't having like one, they probably was having 2, 3. Like in the beginning, they were having a lot of babies, and you having these albinos. They can't be in the sun. I felt like we ran them off.
Yeah, they were called casted off, just like the Bible said. They casted them off.
Yeah, we ran them off, and I feel like they came back as not the white man, but they came back, and this is retribution for them for what we did to them, like running them off.
Eddie Griffith even did a script about that as a comedy, but he didn't know what he was talking about. But when I see him, I'm like, oh wow, he's gonna put, and he don't even know what he's talking about.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I'm trying to figure out exactly. Hey, and I saw something. I saw a TikTok the other day, and it said, I hope I say this right. It said, name something that everybody think is in the Bible, but it's not in the Bible. And this person said, white people. He said, there. A lot of people think that white people are in the Bible, but there ain't no white people like in the Bible. It doesn't talk about like white people, like where they truly originated from, their origin. And it's just like you said, I think their history is so bad, they don't want to share exactly where they came from. But I hate using this term, but it's like they have been like the cancer. But I think this is of our doing because of what we've done, how we treated people. I'm talking about over millions of years, you're running off albinos. And I think in some places in Africa to this day, albinos aren't safe. It's like they cut their hands off or something.
Yeah,
luck or some, yeah. So they still doing bad in some parts of Africa. So yeah. This is deep, trying to figure out this and getting a better understanding where all this hatred comes from in the separation. But I think I got a really good feel on it. I love this conversation, and I just want us to get to the root of it and make it better.
But not just that, what you were saying, they did talk about white people in the Bible, which is another reason why we are in the situation we're in today. Because remember, like I say, when the people, they try to teach us that, oh, God wrote the Bible, it was written by God's hand. All that is a lie. There were scribes writing the history of what was going down, and so they demonized white people in the Bible. Do you know what they call white people in the Bible? Because of how they was, like you were saying earlier, the sun was affecting them. You know what they called them?
What?
Lepers.
Lepers. Okay.
Remember that? You seen that?
Yeah.
When they talk about lepers, they're talking about white people, and then that's what made white people hate us and want to rewrite the Bible and give their own version. That's why the world hates black people the way it does today, because we're the only ones with this type of skin. So if you call it non-black people lepers, come on, man. And this stuff was written thousands and thousands, years ago, before America was a country, before Europe was developed. Africa was the only developed country back then. They call all of that Ethiopia. They didn't even want, our ancestors from Ethiopia didn't even want the pyramids built, because they didn't want this knowledge to get out. They know if this knowledge got into the wrong man's hands, which is that race of what they call a double race of people, they already knew they was going to use this for physical things like creating atom bombs, cannons, guns, stuff, because we're spiritual people, what we were taught when I was studying Christianity, all these different religions, is the same thing God made for good, or that people are using for bad, God made for good. So all this knowledge and stuff that we had, all they did was twist it around. And what I was saying earlier, our religion, what we were practicing, which we were taught in the pyramids, we were practicing astral projection. We were practicing telekinesis, like bending stuff with our minds. We were practicing mental telepathy, you know, and that was our science back then. Science was our religion back then, which was those things: astral projection, mental telepathy, all these different type of things that the white man named and called science, and make think that, oh, it's impossible. Why do you think they have these terms? And they're not just concepts, they were actually things that our ancestors were capable of, and Jesus showed us. That's why they had to write their own version of the Bible, and they took Enoch and all the different Bibles out the Bible that was teaching us and telling us this stuff. Why was Melchizedek and Enoch and certain people just taken up, and they were never found again? You can't find the, you know, come on. You know, people got to think about things like that. Go ahead, Brother King. Look like you want something to say. Go ahead.
No, I really don't have anything to say, man. I'm just learning, man. I'm just listening. I'm just like learning, man. Like, and if you may allow me just to like listen, I will be very glad. I want to talk though, but I want to listen now.
Well, I want to share where I got this knowledge from. Actually, another one is magneticism, which is what I learned, and this was from a white guy who was teaching about why they like to blow things up. So they like to combust things, you know, with their bombs, and they created this with technology. Like, and he even taught we don't even need oil. You know, they force us to use oil so that they could be able to capitalize and eat. And like I was telling people, with Africa and America being like these rich countries, country like China and the Middle East would not be able to eat if they wasn't using oil and they wasn't oppressing Africa. How would they feed their people? They wouldn't be able to feed their people if they wasn't oppressing our people and robbing Africa. That's why they're robbing Africa, you know? And because of our leaders being egotistical and like basically it's egotistical maniacs, they're willing to sell out their own people for riches, you know? And so as long as we have this power structure in place with these leaders that don't care about our people, ain't nothing gonna change, which is why democracy is so important, because we could vote these leaders out. And we have to get this knowledge into the hands of our people to let what we call over here, make Africans informed voters. They have to be more informed about the leaders that they're electing. And that's it, and that's all, which is why this platform is so important, which is why you're like a hand of God, fulfilling God's mission, Brother King Vajo, because you go around and you talk to the youth, not just talking to them on the street, but you go to the schools and you talk to them. So you're able to reach the youth in ways that us over here in America can't. You're real instrumental in the kingdom of God, doing God's work and what you do. So you're to be commended, and I'm gonna try to get as many people as I can to help support you fulfill God's work. So
yeah, so definitely make sure you send me his contact information too, brother, when we're done. And yeah, let me see what all he's doing and how I can help out with it too. So and getting other people aware. So yeah, just send me his information, Cash App, and all that cool stuff when we're done. So yeah. I can yeah, because again, I want to definitely know more about the goal and what it is that we're trying to do. And again, I like to get to the root, and this is painful. This stuff hurts, to really look at the big picture where everything comes from. Now, again, I don't know how it is in Africa where you're at right now, but are the mothers and fathers together in Africa more so than here? Is there a father in the child's life there, King?
Oh yeah. If you come to cities, we have more present dads and moms in the lives of the children, mostly in underdeveloped part of the continent. And but then if you come to countries that are a little bit developed, like South Africa. South Africa is one of the countries that is almost like a developed country in Africa. The challenge of absent fathers is up to 72% last time I checked among the Black community. For most of the children, they just bear the names of their mothers because the fathers are not there. So it's actually a very, very challenging factor here. But just like Mr. Timothy was talking about going to the root of, no, it was Mr. Clayton was talking about getting to the root of these problems. And if you come on the continent, most of these challenges are because of poverty. You will see a kid of 20 years, 19 years old having a baby, and most of the times it's because there is no structure, there is no family structure guiding this young adult, and they go out there and for a piece of bread they can sell their body to anybody and end up falling pregnant and all of that. This may sound like, whoa, what is King Fasan talking about? But then there are communities that these young ladies, they cannot even afford sanitary pad. So somebody they're just vulnerable like that. Then you will see kids making babies, and it is just so not okay, because I'm talking strictly about the place I'm sitting right now, which is Johannesburg, where you see that a lot. And most of the times when you meet these young ladies, when they tell you their story, how they become pregnant, because I am so involved in the lives of young people that they feel free to talk to me. So some of them, when they share their challenges of how it happened, the stories are really so sad. And it's a cycle. It's a cycle, right? I was telling the ladies the other time, if a young lady that is staying with a grandmother doesn't know the father, and that young lady is now making a baby, the baby doesn't know the father, it's now become the cycle of poverty that we are revolving around it. You see?
Well, that's how it is everywhere poverty is. For one, people don't have much to do in impoverished cities and communities. There's nothing to do. So majority of the time, like you said, people will go out, the women will go out and they'll sell their bodies for whatever they can. And then the men are raping them because they don't have any protection, or people are just laying around having sex because there's nothing else to do. And, so that continues the cycle of poverty, which leads to just what we call a generational cycle. So it all comes from a condition that was created by the oppressor. That's why we call them oppressors, because they created these desperate conditions for our people. And with the leaders in place, we need to get these leaders up out of here that are allowing it and that are working with the oppressor. No matter how much money they have, the Europeans, the Asians, the Arabs, they all putting money behind these leaders to keep our people oppressed so that they could keep feeding off our people's table. And that's all it is. So that's the message that the youth and generation need to know. You can't think like the colonial masters, because you're only hurting yourself. You shouldn't go out and have children if you're going to be thinking like a colonial master, because you're starting to oppress yourself.
And be aware, and you're so right, and to be aware of what they're doing, like in those little neighborhoods, with the music and the TV that they watch, they promote so much sex. I can't imagine being a teenager nowadays, man. I thought it was hard when I grew up. I graduated high school in 1988. And so gangster rap and all this stuff was just starting to come out. And now it's all of these Megan Thee Stallion. It's all about sex and popping your butt. And they keep that in your mind. They keep sex and guns and violence in people's minds. And in impoverished areas, that's what they're listening to. They're listening to all of this gangster stuff. You're seeing something about sex on TV every day. And then now they're confusing the children, the little boys, about their gender. They know that little boys grow up. And I think up until like 12 or 13, boys want to hang out with boys. And they think hugging and kissing, all that stuff is like, ugh. Boys go through that phase, then they hit puberty. But now they're confusing the boys. They're confusing them to let them know, hey, if you like another boy, it's okay to have sex with them. There's books in middle schools that these kids are reading that involve sexual acts. These are books in school now between the same sex. So all of this gender stuff that they got going on now, I think this, instead of informing people on what can cause them to be gay, there's reasons why people choose to be with the person of the same sex. There are a lot of reasons. I also believe that sometimes some people are just born with it. I've seen situations, I've seen babies where I already knew that he had, excuse me for saying this, but like that gay gene. I do believe that it's like that, but the majority of people, it's choices that these people make. It's experiences that they went through as a child to cause them, and now they're confusing people. They're confusing boys because boys are unsure. And if you're playing with your little buddy one day or something, and y'all get close or something, and yeah, they're confusing people instead of teaching them what can cause, what can be one of the reasons why you're choosing to be gay. Something happened in your life. Because some abuse you went through. Your first experience could have been with a male or something, an older male that influences you. So something happens. So instead of educating us on the correct reasons, they're distorting it and confusing people more. I think this is so wrong what they're doing now with all of this gentrification stuff. Again, I have two brothers that were gay, and both of them died. They passed away from AIDS. But see, they don't talk about, like, I remember when AIDS first came out, oh my God, you would think, man, it was everywhere. But now they're encouraging people to be gay. I feel like they're encouraging people to be gay and not informing them of how. And then the whole AIDS thing again. Everybody's just being quiet about that, like it's gone now. So again, man, our leaders, this is foul, in my opinion, what they're doing to us. And this madness has to stop. What they're doing to us, we have to use that the democratic process or the democracy. We got to get the right people in there, and we have to also understand that there are a lot of people that go in and they really have the right intentions when they go into politics, but then all of a sudden they get in there, and then the bully comes in and says, hey, I know you wanted to, but this is how things are ran. Now you can either get with the program or you can suffer the consequences. I think something like that goes on. A lot of people go in with the right intention, but that puppet master comes in and said, hey, we can get you out of here just as quick as we got you in. This is how we run things around here. I honestly feel like that happens. People go in with the right intention, but then they meet the man behind the curtain or the people behind the curtain, and they gotta not straighten up and fly right. They gotta fly crooked. It's like, damn, okay. So that's what we're up against also too. But it's time for people to come in and be strong, stand their ground, and let's really change this. And let's get us all as a family. Let's get us all on the same level and stop all of this separation and division that we have. That's their game, to keep us separated, divided, and the fighting and the confusion, the living in fear of God, this fear thing that they put in us. It's time for all of this madness to stop, family. It's time for it to stop. And what you're doing, King, working with the kids, that's where it it needs to start with educating these kids and letting them know what's going on, letting them know why you're making these choices. Your mind is being influenced, and you have no idea how. Like music, you get drunk or high for the first time, and you've been listening to gangster music, you've been listening to stuff about sex, but when you drink for the first time, oh my goodness, all those things now you're going to want to do. So these people know it. The same people that build the prisons, they own the music industry. They got these things. Private prisons is on Wall Street. If they've started these private prison stuff back in the late 80s and the early 90s, they knew, like, hey, in the next 10 to 20 years, you want to invest in prisons because we make the music that's going to send them there. They know every time somebody goes to pull off a caper, whether it's stealing, a murder, I guarantee you they got some kind of gangster music playing in the background, getting themselves hyped up before they go pull their little caper. So these people know what they're doing. The same people that own the prisons owns the music industry. And the music nowadays, all you hear is shooting and sex and all this crazy stuff that's going on. And people take a drink or something, and then boom, before you know it, you're sitting in jail like, damn, can't believe I did that. Like, man, shit. But yeah, they got the programming in our minds. And this is the stuff the youth needs to be aware of. Also, too, family, how serious this game is.
Well, I'm in Memphis right now, and AIDS is on the rise amongst the youth.
See what I'm saying?
I'm like, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the demographic that's doing all the shooting is like 12 and 13-year-old. Even people 9 and 10 are shooting at cops out here. You know, so it's like this is nuts.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if but over in Africa, King always talks about how they look to America as great people. You know, they like to follow our leaders and stuff like that. But Brother Clayton, he knows from being an NFL player, he's like been right there with like some of these famous leaders and amongst them and stuff. He know they're no good. They mean nothing. Like these celebrities, all the people that you guys over there looking at in Africa, they do not like our people. They're like totally different and totally, completely disconnected from the Black people over here in America. And that's what I always tell Africans. Do not look at TV and think these are Black people who love Black people on TV. These are what we call misleaders. They're only working for the enemy and I learned they're only on TV acting like, well, I like to call them monkeys because their job is to deceive Africans. They're not deceiving us over here in America. We know they don't like us over here. They're only on TV to make Africans believe, oh, we're some great people, we're this, we're that. But they're not. They're working for the devil.
Real talk. Real talk, buddy.
I'm sure you're going to see all the videos. How's everybody doing this morning? Y'all sound bad. Y'all need some coffee? We got some coffee and snacks and stuff.
Great.
How y'all doing this morning?
Good.
I'm feeling it now. So she said, Daniel, what's good? So very excited to be here this morning. We are behind schedule. I apologize about that. So I'm going to shut up and I'm going to go ahead and call our youth panel up front. You all can, it's 3 panelists and a facilitator, so I will let you all sit in the same style that we did yesterday's panel there, and I'll add another chair mic over here. But if you all can start making your way up here and getting comfortable, and we're going to go ahead and get this thing started, because I tell you what, every time I have to present about the conference and talk to somebody, I was like, I can't wait for you now, because they're going to light it up. So we're about to go live and put y'all on social media to talk to the people. and Republican state legislators are doing everything in their power to manipulate the election so that only some people can participate and others can't. And so when you touch base on that, when you shed light on the magnitude of voter suppression that's occurring and it's mirroring Jim Crow, it's scary because we're in 2021 and we're still fighting to preserve the right to vote. And we have billionaires going in space and spending millions of dollars for fun. But we have people struggling. Struggling to get to the ballot, struggling to try to find a way to get to a polling place that has been moved miles away from its jurisdiction.
You know, I just feel like this show right here, I should just persuade a lot of our people to watch it, because a transformed person, an informed person is a transformed person. And our deformity is because we are not informed. Most of the things that I hear Mr. Timothy talk about, and I'm hearing Mr. Clayton speak about, they're foreign to me. I've never heard them before. That's why I'm telling you that I just want to listen right now, because if there is a way that we could get this podcast, because all the guests that you bring on here, you have never brought a single soul that do not know their story. And I just feel like if we are to get this message to especially I am so much, my passion for the liberation of the younger generation on the continent it is just so crazy. And I feel like with messages like this, with information like this, my work will be easy. And it will be so easy for a young person to understand. When you guys were explaining about spirituality, not long ago, Mr. Timothy, I will send you a link of that TV channel that had me, and they were talking about spirituality. And they said, Africa never had any religion. They said they never had religion. And the explanation of this, guys, it's just the same thing that you guys are saying. Now, if you guys all the way that side know much about what we're supposed to know, then anybody watching or listening to this kind of information should be like, okay, cool, something is going on here, that if we do not wake up, time will be gone. Because one major thing that has divided us so much on the continent is religion. You will be surprised what the Muslim community are doing in the north of Nigeria. It is just messed up. We have too many divisional lines, and if we begin to look at this divisional line from the angle that two of you are talking about, none of this divisional line is created by us. But we fight and kill each other for it. So, man, I am just so grateful to be here, man. I'm just so grateful. If I am to carry the message to the young people, I need a resource of information like this, that when I open my mouth to speak, they will know that, no, he is really giving us information that we knew nothing about. No, once again, I really want to thank you all.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And I'm going to have to leave at 10. And I just wanted to say, is it Lagos, Lagos, Nigeria? You ever heard of that? Lagos, yeah.
Lagos.
That's where my cousin has his little clothing company. And he's planning on going to Africa next few months, and I've never been, and that's definitely on my to-do list to go. So I don't know if I'm going to go with him here. I really, I'm going to be cautious and careful, and I like finding somebody like a tour guide or somebody when I go to places like this. But yeah, that's my cousin. He has a clothing deal going in Nigeria.
Yeah, Mr. Clayton. So I would love to like come in here. When you on the and you would discuss with your cousin also. When you are on the continent, you really got to be very careful. I am not scaring you away. It's a beautiful place to be and all of those stuff. But remember, poverty is a very bad thing.
Right.
It makes people do the undoable, do the unthinkable. And so most of the times when our brothers from the States comes here on the continent, there is this notion that they have all the dollars, right? And now some of these guys with cold hearts and all of that, they can go extra mile to do unimaginable things. Remember, I am not trying to scare your cousin away. I have welcomed more than 5 Americans here in South Africa, and while they were here, I made sure that they had a great time and they lived in a very good state. Just that the other one came and wanted to take my woman from me. I told Timothy.
Oh, we can't trust these brothers in America, man. They some big pimps and players over here.
So yeah, but it's all cool. The message I'm trying to pass is that you should be very careful. Yeah. Nigeria is my country of origin, but those are guys that they can go extra mile to do the unthinkable when it comes to money. So he should just be like.
So how is that area? Logos. How is that area? Is that a bad area?
Lagos is the busiest place in Nigeria, and it's crowded and
well developed.
Where it's developed. It's just that the population is way beyond there are places there that are so developed, and then there are places that are not developed at all. So that is Lagos. But then if he knows this guy that he's doing business with him, I am not trying to be negative about it. Right. But all I'm saying is that he should be very careful, and he should be very smart also when he gets there.
That's what I told him too. And he was talking about going like by himself. I was like, because I thought he'd been there before, and he's been doing business with them for probably 3 or 4 years, and they're just getting things set up. So now he wants to go down there. I'm like, you need to go down there with somebody. I was like, I don't care how tight you might know somebody. This is a new area. There's a lot of hustles. And I feel like you should go with somebody, and also, call and find out there's good tour guides and people that can take you around and keep you out of certain places. But don't just go down there by yourself. I'm like, no, I don't think that's going to be a good idea for him.
I actually know an ambassador from Nigeria. She's part of the Nigerian tourism industry, actually. She had organized a tour for us over there. I could connect them with her as well. We already know Brother Fajana Joe. He's going to be there, if possible, waiting for him as well. But like the brother said, it's always good to go with somebody or somebody who has that experience that we could trust. Right. We do know people. We know people.
Okay. And brother, I hate again to cut this short, but I've had a wonderful time. But it's 10 now. I gotta get off of here, but I appreciate it. And send me King's information, brother. And is there anything that you need from me before I leave or anything? But I'm gonna need to jump off right now, bro.
I just wanted to give the information out about the knowledge I've been sharing is from Dr. Richard King, The Origins of African Psychiatry. So I'll be sending people that. I'll probably try to get a video clip to put it in here so people can know who he is. And just Brother Fajan, tell them more about the book, and we can wrap the show up. Where to find the book at?
Okay. So you can find my books on Amazon. The 40 Voters Commandment, the Result or Excuses, Stop Confusing Africa with Religion, and the 40 Voters Commandment, African Guide, and the 45 habits that turns boys into men. And the other one that I have to put now, I'll be uploading it tomorrow. It is called The Seeds of Failure. Yeah, these are the books that you can find on Amazon right now, but the other ones I haven't uploaded yet. Thank you very much, Mr. Timothy, and thank you so much, Mr. Clayton.
And King, how do you spell your last name? So when I look you up on Amazon, I look for King. Spell your last name?
Ajo, yeah.
How do you spell it, your last name?
A-J-O.
King Ajo, okay. All right, buddy.
Fajan is F-A-Z-A-N.
Yeah.
A-J-O.
Spell that again, brother.
But
F-A-Z-A-N.
But right now I'm having a challenge with the South African bank. So for not the citizen thing. So anything that I sell on Amazon, I cannot be able to get the money because they have actually like frozen my account. And yeah, I'm still working towards it to get it done. So for now, any purchase on Amazon, I might not be able to get anything.
We'll work on that. We'll work on that this week. So we're going to let the brother go and wrap this show up. And thank you for coming on and being such a wonderful guest, Brother Holmes. And like always, man, much love to you, man. We appreciate you.
Hey, much love. I appreciate it, man. This is awesome. And I look forward to checking it out when you get it done and you put it up. And King, you have a great rest of your day, my brother. It was a pleasure meeting you. I look forward to talking to you again, brother.
And thank everybody for tuning in. Until next time, God bless. Thank you. Peace.
In the so-called Delta region of Kemet, in the 1890s, the Egyptian Explorational Society did uncover this phase of a person, the phase of a Hyksos, Pharaoh. This is the phase of those people who were creating dissension in our homeland. Do you see some epicanthal fold type things going on here? Do you see that face? That's the one who disrespected our homeland. We know the European did. That's known. They called him Set, clear cut. He said in Introduction to African History by Diop, in his first book, he says that when the Egyptians would see red-skinned people, mean people who got sunburned, they were sacrificed on sight. They were called fowls because they had been waging war on us for quite a while. We just dealt with that straight up. We had pushed them all the way back into the northern regions. So with that in mind, we're going to have a period of questions and answer after this. But I would just like to say that if there's one slide that I would ask you to hold on to, let it be this one. My brothers and sisters, you are so black. You are so divine. You've got a perfect mission to do. I wait to be taught by you. Thank you.